Okay, so because the original video about this clock ended up being way too long, and I know that some of you might not be interested in everything which I talk about in there, I have created this short version, and you can still find the original video in the description down below and on my channel. Today's clock is this small Perfecta wall clock. I know it's supposed to be put on the wall, but I usually keep it like this on a shelf or something because it's more convenient, since I am lacking space on the wall. It was made in the 1970s, it runs for 8 days on a full winding, and it strikes on the hour and on the half hour on 3 chime rods with bim bam. Okay, so making this clock strike will be a little tricky, as if I open the door too much, the clock will start leaning on its back, and the pendulum will scratch the back panel, which is not okay. There are the hammers. I bought this clock sometime in January this year. I honestly can't remember when exactly. I know that I was out with my girlfriend and we were exploring our shopping mall again, and then there was this flea market which takes place once a month, and I saw this clock in there. I thought it looked interesting, so I went for it. When I first got it, I was not able to identify the maker of the movement, which led me to believe that Perfecta made their own movements. But after some time, with a little bit of luck, I stumbled upon a mantle clock which had an almost identical movement inside it, but fitted with a floating balance. And so I was able to determine that this clock was made by Urgos, or at least the movement inside it. Here's the key, by the way. And I'll let you have a quick back view. I was originally planning to retune this clock since I have this thing, which sounds the same if not better. But now that I got used to it being the way it is, I think that I'll keep it like this for a little longer. Okay, so now I'll let you watch a couple of clips of me fiddling around with the movement for 4 minutes straight. Okay, so today I started working on that Perfecta wall clock, which I got yesterday. And I was expecting it to have a normal Hermle movement from the 1960s or the 1970s. And what do I see when I take the dial off? This. What is this supposed to be? This thing doesn't look like any manufacturer that I know of. It's a pretty normal striking movement with rack and snail striking. I don't know for how long it runs. And it's very small. I mean, it's comparable in size to the movement inside my Junghans carriage clock. It has a recoil escapement. Wait, I think it's better to show it to you from the back. Yeah, that's a recoil escapement. And the escape wheel isn't skeletonized for some reason. It does have a serial number, but it doesn't help much because this thing has no markings anywhere, which leads me to believe that Perfecta made their own movements. Okay, so here's the freshly cleaned and oiled movement. And if there's one thing that I can say for sure, it has to be the fact that this thing operates much more quietly than before. Like, check this out. Yup. No more grinding noises. So the clock's now going again, and I will keep it in testing for a couple of days, and then I will put the movement back in the case with the dial on. Okay everyone, I have the most amazing news in the entire world. Because do you see this clock movement right here? It's perfectly fine. It's literally just running, fully oiled. It keeps time okay. And guess what? I need to fully dismantle it back to like bits and pieces because I reversed the freaking hammer lifting thingies and it gets stuck when it strikes. And because of that little thing, which I did not notice, I have to dismantle this whole thing again. Okay, so it's been 2 days since I last fiddled with this clock, and now the hammer control levers, like the ones on the side right there, are now in the correct position and the clock strikes perfectly fine. So I can officially start the final testing phase before putting the dial back on. Now that I fixed the biggest issue that this clock had, I think it's finally time to put the dial back on. But before doing so, I thought I'd show it to you, so here it is, here's the dial. It has a very unusual shape. And as you might see, the paint is starting to fail in some of the places. And on the back, it has this very interesting system of fixing onto the movement. So it literally clamps on it. The movement pillars have some cutouts in them, and these clips help the dial clamp onto them. So in order to remove it, you need to turn it this way, and to put it back on, you need to turn it the other way around, like this. It's a very interesting system. I've never seen this in a clock before, so I don't know, seems cool. And it also has a repair date in there, which I think it is from 1974. Yeah, the 25th of September 1974. Here's where the clock will be staying for now. Maybe I'll move it at some point, but that remains to be seen. So, yeah, that's kind of it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I was Luca, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.